Hello all, welcome to lanik. This video is a practical summary on how ORTS, the structural system used by lanik to build roofs, works. To start with, we will explain some basic notions of building techniques, which will be useful to understand the differences between ORTS and other systems. When we want to cover a small space, we place 4 wooden pillars and some beams parallel and perpendicular to them. Thus, we create a grid to support the sheet that will act as the roof. Its weight on the beams exerts pressure on the centre. Beams bend downward because strength is distributed in 2 directions only. This happens in all structures made of wood, metal or concrete. The ORT system creates solid rigid structures formed with knots and bars, like a grid or a spatial net. The difference with the other structure is that even though the whole thing works through bending, each individual element works using tensile force and compression. Thus, the force or pressure is distributed in each point of the spatial network, instead of being in only one point, as shown previously. A supporting network that consists of many support elements is created. That is where the stress is transmitted. The network does not have an exact bending point, but it is distributed through the whole support element. Therefore, this structure is more rigid than the one we mentioned before. In the spatial structure system spheres, bars, purlins, stools, and supports are used. The sphere is a piece that contains various holes that are threaded according to the directions of the bars which join there. It is threaded on the support element, which is the element that is connected to the bearing element. The whole thing rests on this cone and the metallic plate, which will later be connected to the concrete or another type of material. The bars are cylindrical tubes which, at the ends, have caps with holes from which screws come out. The peculiarity is that they have 2 screwed bodies placed in the opposite direction, which allows it to be screwed in the knot. If the 2 nuts are manipulated, the screw can be moved by means of a blocking system, due to the nut and lock nut effect. Moreover, it guarantees the tightening, avoiding the loosening of the joint due to vibrations. The purlins are metallic elements for connection, which transmit the roof load to the spheres. The bars receive the weight in tensile force or compression. This way of transmitting the weight allows the bars to be hollow, and therefore the structure is lighter. The purlins are assembled to the spheres through the stools in a way that they are placed in parallel to each other. Assembly is quite simple. Thanks to the ORT system, the structure can be assembled on the ground and then put together in its final location. The spatial grid is built using reversed pyramids. The pyramids can have a square base or a triangular base. The pyramids are built joining the knots and bars. The spatial network consists of various pyramids. The pyramid types are chosen depending on the structure of the building. For instance, when we have a structure like this, which is full of curves, it is easier to use the pyramids with a triangular base, simply because they fit better in the structure. Once the space frame is ready, we put together the purlins and knots, which are placed on top of the space frame in parallel. One of the important features of the spatial structure is it is very light, which allows to raise large surfaces. The spatial network is built on the ground and then, using cranes, it is put up and placed where it is meant to be. Thus, the assembly is safer, simpler and faster.